Hi, welcome back to the Developer Q&A with BattleGoat Studios. My name's Christian.
And I'm George.
We're going to continue answering some of the questions that you guys have sent in. That we appreciate everybody in the community showing so much interest in the game. And through our social media platforms and our Discord and our forum, users have been using the hashtag GRQ to leave us some questions and comments for those things that we sometimes don't have time to answer directly in the Discord because we're busy making games. So starting off today, the first question we want to get into, I want to pass this one to you, George, because I know that you've got the answer for it. Really? The 4K scaling.
Oh, I'm just serious? I had the answer for the
No.
races?
Okay. I told you which one you were starting with.
Yes, but I've forgotten. That was a long time ago.
A whole 2 minutes.
Yes, and the question it comes from Des Levolt and probably a number of other people on the Steam community forums and VG forums, is about the UI and font scaling. And especially now, we know more people are playing at high density, high pixel monitors, the 4K monitors. I have a 4K monitor myself. And when you do play at that resolution, we do know that our fonts and our GUI get quite small. It gives you a lot of map space. You get a really big galactic map. There are some issues, and other people also have the desire to have things like the GUI be larger, either because as an accessibility measure or something else. And this is something that has been on our to-do list, on our work list for a little bit now. We weren't able to get it into Supreme Ruler Ultimate, but now with our new DX11 graphics engine, it is something that, again, is now very high on our work list. So it isn't incredibly easy to do because of the complexity of how our graphics interface works, and that's why we haven't had a chance to get it out there yet. But rest assured, we are working on that, including additional supports for the really large monitors. Right now, some of the biggest monitors will have glitches, such as maps that have issues at the left and right side if you have an ultra-wide monitor. Now, those are things we will be working on, will be supporting, but the UI and font scaling is definitely one you will see us be able to roll out as soon as we can.
Now the next question comes to us also from Deus Levolt. It says, do the developers plan to introduce more resources? I understand why some of them were cut, timber and oil, but others like the military industrial goods are still on point. So this goes, in case you haven't seen the game yet, and have seen some of our previous ones, Supreme Ruler games generally had 11 commodities that made up the whole production system. With Galactic Ruler and dealing with multiple planets and systems and galaxies, the decision was to go with a less complex production system, that there's 4 commodities. And while it's true that we could add more, at this time we aren't really considering that. There are still some questions about specialty resources, if that would really enhance the gameplay, but until we get through some of the core mechanics that we're looking for and deal with those issues and get satisfied with what we've got, the 4 commodities we have right now are the ones that we intend to stick with.
I think anybody who's had any experience with BattleGoat games or Supreme Ruler series know that we never are one to take the dumb down the game approach. However, we also know that our games are very complex, and sometimes we need to balance that complexity against what the gameplay is worth. And having the 11 resources in Supreme Ruler Ultimate, our original hope when we created those resources in 2010 was that it creates a very dynamic trading system, but we found that was always, didn't really live up to being as interesting an element of gameplay. Sometimes certain resources could provide global interest, but other times, a player going in would just either take over or build the capacity so that they could be masters of every resource and then take over the world, and that didn't necessarily have the fun gameplay to it as you would think. And then in later versions with Ultimate, we added far more automated systems where the AI will just trade resources automatically for you. So as long as you turned on your minister priorities, set everything go, unless there was something really weird going on, somebody did manage to do a corner a market, such as in rubber or oil, everything else would just happen automatically.
I will take a moment to also say that for some of the people who may be really entrenched in what they've gotten used to in the Supreme Ruler games, that design decisions that we're making on Galactic Ruler aren't necessarily an indication of where we're going to go with Supreme Ruler Next Gen. That we are still intending to have a Supreme Ruler game, and for a game that takes place on the Earth only, we still see that for that gameplay there is that the 11 resource system is still probably the better choice for the Supreme Ruler series. We do want to give these two series the opportunity to be their own thing. So for Galactic Ruler, we feel that these 4 resources is more representative of the style of game that we're trying to make. Ultimately, we'll keep getting feedback from the community, and anybody who's followed our games knows that this is the beginning of a very long development cycle, that we have consistently spent a lot of time, put a lot of our own feature wish list, all those things that we love, that the games we make really grow over time. So yeah, just a little bit of perspective on the bigger picture of BattleGoat Studios.
So looking at the original question, we might have misread this entirely because it does say tinder and oil, and that's an entirely different thing, really.
Yeah, talking about the resources does lead us towards the next question that came to us from Vele, asking about interplanetary trade. I finished all tech and didn't notice any space trade stations. Is there something I am missing? Do you need to build ships that become later stations, or we just have military building option in space for now? Thanks. A lot of the facility construction is military-based right now at the space level, and some of the trade stuff that again goes to some of the lore stuff. And we won't have time in this video. The next video I'm going to have to give a bit more of the lore because I've mentioned it too many times. That there will be some back-end trading stuff that you can interact with to get your commodities between planets. And we're still we're still playing with the production information you get at the system level. We're working to make it more relevant to understanding the economy of a given planet you're looking at. So that one, you'll have to watch the future development to get a lot of new stuff. But for now, it looks like you've found most of what there is to do right now.
And some players have suggested more specialization, like some planets should be drastically short on certain materials, maybe ore or maybe agriculture and so on. And that's something we haven't dealt with yet, and we're looking at maybe as another element where we can make the game a little more interesting by doing that.
Because we're also working on more variety of planet types. That's also in our long-term plan. So for today, we'll stop there. We've still got more questions to go because you guys are always sending us more questions, and we appreciate that. Remember to attach that hashtag GRQ when you're leaving them on our social media or on our forums, and we'll do what we can to get to your questions in time. Thanks for watching.
Thank you.